Hello, my name is John, and today we'll be reading Freak Out, Death Threats, and Neutrality, Paul Jacob on Townhall, posted December 17, 2017. Paul Jacob is president of Citizens in Charge, a non-profit, nonpartisan group working to protect and expand voter initiative rights, and the Citizens in Charge Foundation, a charitable foundation conducting research on the initiative process, educating the public, and litigating to defend the petition rights of Americans. The freakout was something to behold. A regulatory regime that had been in effect for less than 3 years was removed in much the same way it was put in place, without Congress making or repealing any law. You might think that this would have been the scandal. Unconstitutional government. An out-of-control regulatory body flailing about from one policy to another based on the president in charge. Not Congress, the president. Which may explain why the nixing of net neutrality by the Federal Communications Commission the other day was such a big deal, especially on the left. It's not really about the net, it's about the Donald and the end of the Obama era, which may be why public figures with apparently less knowledge of network economics than I have so vociferously denounced the FCC's move, folks like Jimmy Kimmel, who called the FCC's policy change despicable, and Ajit Pai, the new FCC chairman, a jackhole. The uproar on Twitter was, Twitterish. An actor calling Pai a monster caught the general tenor, and we could count on CNN for just the right note of panic, titling one of its reports, "The End of the Internet as We Know It." Doesn't this feel less substantive and more like a way to channel anti-Trump sentiment? The hysteria levels are telling. I know. There are actual arguments for net neutrality, non-Trump hating reasons, but why the freakout levels? The sky is falling rhetoric. The internet had stumbled along just fine until 2015, when President Barack Obama's FCC put net neutrality in place, a point Agent Pai ably makes in his defense, and he could use defenses, considering all the death threats he has received. Do the doomsayers really believe that a set of regulations that had been in place just a few years was going to ruin the internet and unleash big corporations upon the world to the detriment of regular consumers and startup service providers? Especially given that net neutrality finds support from some of the biggest internet corporations out there, Google, Netflix, AT&T, and opposition from small ISPs. To the extent that this is not sublimated #resist Trump sentiment, the furor is the result of a naive faith in government. Many net neutrality supporters think that their favored regulatory scheme frees the internet, and while a few of the arguments sure seem compelling, I cannot help but note that little freeing goes on when it comes in the form of 400 pages of regulations, which is what net neutrality brought us. Generally, more regulation does not equate to freedom. Besides, too many folks think that regulations do what is claimed for them, that big businesses hate regulation. They are often regulation's biggest supporters, and that regulations to prohibit or cap or floor prices help consumers. Instead, the partisans of big government dogmatically assert that the best way to curb corporate power is to give more power to government, even as they decry the current president as literally Hitler. Giving more power to Hitler seems to be a bad idea. But note the fact that Trump's jackhole at the FCC removes some power of government over the internet, which might indicate that, well, Trump is not Hitlerian. After all, Hitler's Third Reich consolidated Nazi Party control over media. Turning media into a propaganda wing was one of its defining features. It's one reason playing the Hitler card is so effective. Surely none of us want government control over speech and the press. And of course the internet is the greatest press realm since movable type. In the age of the NSA, we do not need another federal bureaucracy or cabal riding herd over our communications. What we need most is not to enforce neutrality of businesses with each other, but the constitutional neutrality of government towards everybody. Government neutrality is the key. With that in mind, the death of net neutrality should appear less catastrophic. It will not doom the internet. More likely, it will allow the net to flourish without partisan or bureaucratic meddling. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. My name is John Brooker, and you can reach me through commentary on this video or through my Gmail listed here. Please share this video with family and friends and on social media. May God richly bless you.